for making the efforts to show up and to come back, those who have been earlier here today. I have a question for myself, and I want you to help me answer that question. And that is, how many of you have resonated with the concepts, the ideas, the strategies that Allan has discussed earlier today, or that have been discussed in the previous sessions, those who have just joined us tonight? Because I know that you've been attending other stuff that we've organized before. So can you put your hand up if you resonate with the concepts? Wow. Most of you. That makes me feel a bit ignorant for quite a while. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I was exposed to such information, but I didn't get it. I could hear, but it didn't make any sense to me for quite a while. And it's only recently that I realized the power that such information has on us. Allan was telling you earlier about the morning routine. I had several coaches in my life, and they only managed to convince me to do it in the last 2 months. And I can tell you, I was like, no, I don't have the time. I need my 8 hours sleep. No, oh, well, you mean to wake up to do exercises in the morning? You mean to listen to stuff in the morning? No, I'm busy in the morning. I have to answer my emails, my Facebook messages. I have to answer all the stuff that is coming my way. And I was rejecting it. And sometimes it clicked. And I said, okay, there are so many people talking about it. Why don't I give it a try? And I did. And you know what? The whole week now, we've been having events, presentations and events, and I've been waking up every single day at 6 o'clock in the morning, going to bed at midnight because it was a long day. And you know what? I only sleep 6 hours. I'm not tired, and I have more energy than I used to have when I was sleeping 8 hours. So this stuff works. That's what I want you to understand. And if you are skeptical, like I was for many years, then just open yourself up and try, and you'll see what happens in your life. Because you might say like, oh, this is just like, yeah, do an affirmation or do some positive thinking. That's rubbish, which is what I did. And I agree with you. That alone doesn't help, but it's part of the puzzle. So what we're going to discover today is actually the one thing that you need that empowers you to achieve what you want. And it's not what you're thinking. It took me 45 years to figure it out. I was pretty slow in this. My promise for this session is that we are going to open our souls, our minds towards you and share with you exactly what we've been through and what we know. And we also want to invite you for the one-day event that I mentioned earlier that Allan and I are going to do together. Because in 2 hours, it's just about making you realize a few things about yourself and giving you the direction. But in one day, we can work with you to transform your life. Just to take one step, okay? Because transforming your life is not like overnight, you do something and that's it. It's one step, and it gets better and better and better. So we are going to tell you about the one day that you can spend with us as well. And we invite all of you to come and spend that one day with us. Get ready for UPW, those who have decided to go to UPW in April, and continue your UPW experience, those of you who have been in UPW before. And there is no better time than now. What you see on the screen is the number of millionaires in the world. And what you can see here is a huge jump between 2015 and 2020. And that huge jump comes for a few reasons. One, because of the internet and the technology and the tools that we have available for everyone to do business, to do other things. Two, because the world is changing. The world is changing super, super fast now. Our habits are changing. And because our habits are changing, we need other things. And there is huge opportunity for new solutions, for new ideas, for new services, for you guys to help people. So when you start something, or if you have something and you want to take it to the next level, just think about it. How can you help people? And when you ask yourself this question, then you will have ideas. Even if you are in a job or if you are an entrepreneur, doesn't matter. You can help people regardless. And you can make money on the side if you are an employee, or you can have a business, even bigger, better business if you're already in business. The big question is, how can I help others? That's one of the questions that I invite you to write down and think about. Because all of us can help others. And the reason why I'm thinking about this is because I see a lot of unhappy people. People have challenges with their career. They don't like their boss, they don't like their environment, they don't make enough money, they don't get the promotion, they work too much, and they don't get what they deserve. A lot of the people suffer, not just in Romania, across the globe, from this challenge. Then the next one is is family. Most people have a family or want a family, and work for the family. And the funny thing is that the more you work for the family, the less time you give. And the family is still not happy, still not appreciating the time you put into providing for the family. You do it for the family, but the family doesn't get you. So it's a challenge here as well. And there is this balance in between what you do for work, what you do for family, that is quite hard to achieve these days. Do you agree with me so far? Yeah. The other challenge that people have is obviously time. And we all suffer from this challenge because there is so much more to do. Because the environment becomes more and more complex, more and more competitive, and that's why we need to do more things. And we constantly run around. My biggest breakthrough, though, about time was this week. And I was talking to one of my colleagues, and she said to me, I have a problem here with being late all the time. I'm like, yeah, because I don't want to wait for others, because my time is precious, and rather than me wait a few minutes, I'd rather have the other person wait for me a few minutes, because in those few minutes I can do something else. And when you run your life this way, it brings more stress and more challenges. When I shifted, and it was literally just a few days ago, I shifted towards I have time. And I will get everything done that I want within the time I have. It worked. You're skeptical, right? It's literally, the subconscious mind plays a huge role in our behavior, in what we do, in what we achieve. And those little shifts can make a big difference for you. The next challenge is health. A lot of people suffer from all sorts of different diseases, or just being sick and not productive and can't achieve what they want because they just don't feel well. And the biggest one, I believe, is stress. People feel overwhelmed these days because everybody wants something from people. Like, I'm a mom, so my son wants something from me. I have a partner, my partner wants something from me. I run a business, my employees want something from me. My clients want something from me. My partners want something from me. And then the list carries on, and then you only have 24 hours a day. And if you want to satisfy everyone, it's like, okay, how do you do? Then there is an upgrade in whatever software, and now, oh, okay, I could figure it out before, and now all of a sudden I have to start again. Changing the computer, changing the technology, oof. Everything seems simple, but then when you have to do something, it gets complicated. And then that builds the stress up. Now, I believe that we can live in a better world, a world that we create for ourselves, starting with ourselves. And I'll discuss how I figured things out. What I've seen and what happened to me as well is that most people fight, get what they want, or some part of what they want, but with a lot of fight, with a lot of hustle, doing really hard things. And there are some people who accept they can't get it, and they give up. And there are some other people, even worse, that ignore it. There is a problem, let's deal with it tomorrow. And then tomorrow the problem becomes even bigger, and then even harder to deal with. Do you agree with me so far? Yes, super. Well, you'll be surprised. Most people look for solutions outside. But where is the solution? Inside, right? You want the government, you want the banks, you want the colleagues, you want the boss, you want the employees, you want whoever to do better stuff for you. But the reality is that we are responsible for our actions that lead to what we want. And the solution is just within us. If we wait for the solution to come from others, it will never come. You probably wonder who I am. My initial answer would be an entrepreneur. My father was an entrepreneur, and I inherited, let's say, the drive to be an entrepreneur myself. But I'm also a mom. I'm also a woman. I'm also a colleague for my colleagues, for people that I work with. I'm also a partner for my clients. And the list can continue. And you do. You have more roles in your life as well. My main wake-up call came in 2008. Before I had a successful business, consulting business, raising finance, advising on selling and buying companies, and dealing with EU funds as well. Wake-up call happened in 2008 when the crisis hit my company badly. The banks stopped lending. And so all the projects that we were involved with were put on hold indefinitely. So I had to reduce my team from 12 consultants to only 2. And they were like family to me. And that's when my search started. I was forced to come back to Romania from London, to rent out my flat in London, and to ask my father to help me. My father had been my role model. I wanted to prove to my father that I can do better than him, because he had told me so many times that I'm just not good enough. And I can't be an entrepreneur, I can't do things, and I just better accept that life for me is just average. And I wanted to show to him that it's not the case. So I worked really hard. And he's the one who fed me during 2008, 2009 when I had to come back to Romania, by the way. My saving was an email. An email who invited me to an event in London. 15 entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, sharing their strategies and how they made it big time with business. So I took my credit card, I borrowed more money, I went to London and I attended the event. That's where I signed up for Business Mastery with Tony Robbins, and that's when I realized that what I knew about business, with an MBA, with an entrepreneur, as a father entrepreneur, me having had like 10 businesses before, was only like 5% of what you need to know about business to be successful in business, to be truly successful in business today. And I took all those strategies, put them into a platform, and I said, okay, dear entrepreneurs who struggle like me or who have a good business and want more, I want to help you guys. Take these strategies in interactive tools on Tooliers, the platform, and have a bigger, better business. Great idea. Do you agree with me? You like the idea? To have access to the information that the most successful companies use for like a fraction of the price that you pay a big consultant. Do you like this idea? Yes. Super. Guess what? 3 years I tried to sell. I struggled for 3 years, trying every single tactic you can imagine. Online marketing. Anything about online marketing that you've heard about, I tried it. I paid courses, I paid coaches, I paid mentors, I paid experts, I paid people to do stuff for us. And for 3 years, nothing. 2 years during this journey, we were living in Brussels with my partner because he supported the family and he had a contract there with my 2-year-old son, Sebastian. And the discussion started. My partner was initially supporting me with my big dream of empowering small businesses across the globe to be bigger, better, and big dream for us as well, to make lots of money. And he's like, okay, a year is gone and you, money, when? And another discussion, and he's fed up. He's fed up to pay everything and wait for me to generate a single sale. Because I still had my consulting company at the time, but I couldn't get any money out because everything that my colleagues were producing, I was investing in this new business. I couldn't take any money out whatsoever. And 2 years down the line, I realized that I have to go back to my father again. This time with a son, and ask for help. So I see myself in the situation where I have lots of skills, lots of knowledge, and no future. I lost my business. I lost my relationship. And I have no idea what to do. And I have to beg my father again to pay for my food and for Sebastian's food as well. And I realized that I actually lost my identity. That's one of my biggest breakthroughs. Who am I? Why am I here? What am I doing? So the question for you is, what's your cost? What's your cost for not doing the right things at the right time in the right way? What's your cost for not taking the right decisions? What's your cost for focusing on the wrong things? What's your cost for investing your time on the wrong things that don't help you? What's your cost for buying a Gucci or Prada, Louis Vuitton bag or shoes rather than investing in yourself? What's your cost for going on holiday rather than going to training and courses and seminars to invest in yourself? Because that's the only way that you can grow. What do you think I did? What would you do? Work harder. I was getting nowhere. And I couldn't live with my partner. I had to go back to Romania. And I listened to my friends and my family. What did they say? Get the job! So since I was in Brussels, I applied for a job for the European Union. They take the losers anyway. And 1 week I studied, I did some tests on their website to apply for some things, and at the end of the week, I take Sebastian, my little son, to the botanical garden. It's this beautiful day, and when I take this picture, I realized I could disappoint my father. I could disappoint myself. but I can't disappoint him. I realize I can't be a working mom, 9 to 5 or 9 to 7 or 9 to 10 or 9 to 11, and just provide the basics for my son. Not be there with him, not be able to give him what he really deserves. And this is the moment of decision. This is when I decided I will invest and I'll go full on. I won't listen to anyone, no friends, no family. I don't care. I don't give a damn if they judge me. I don't give a damn if they criticize me. I will go full on. I borrowed more money, I invested, and 1 year later I made the first sale. And that's how we designed the Smart Business System, which is the system that we use now to build businesses, our business as well as our clients' businesses. Then I got an award for the most innovative business model, because what we do now, we offer consulting services to small businesses and medium-sized businesses in a way that makes sense for everyone, that is economical and fun and interactive and implementable and practical. And that's our business right now. Tools and workshops and working in systematic way, one to many. I also have been appointed in the advisory board for CAST Business School. That's the school where I studied my MBA 15 years ago. And I helped them redesign the programs so that they provide better students or better graduates that fit into today's world. And we became partners with Tony Robbins as well, because I realized that it's not just about the technical strategies and the technical tactics. It's also about the soul and the psychology and the human side. And I want to bring Tony Robbins to Romanians, to as many Romanians as possible, because he is the best in the world. And you deserve the best. We Romanians deserve the best. Right? Super. So, that saying that whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger, I vouch for it and I totally say it's true. We serve now small businesses across the globe in different countries that speak English. And what's most important for us is that we enable small companies to transform their businesses so they get what they want out of it. And that's our contribution to the world. And we leave the systems, we leave the tools, we leave this platform to the world for bigger, better businesses. Because I believe that we are changing the world. I believe that we need more power. We small businesses, medium-sized businesses need more power because we care about our clients and we care about the world. And that's how we contribute to changing the world. So my question to you is, what's your big reason? What's your reason for doing what you're doing? Don't tell me it's money. Don't tell me it's survival. Don't tell me it's, I just need a job, or I'm doing it because I have nothing else to do. Write this down and ask yourself and answer this question. What is your big reason for doing what you're doing? Because this is one of the key questions that is going to help you achieve what you want. If you asked about Sebastian, he is now 8 years old and he does all sorts of different sports. He's happy attending a school in London. He's even won an award for being diligent and for his perseverance. And sometimes he comes and helps me at events. And he earns £5 for being the mic runner. And he's happy as well. And this is me with George, my partner. Our relationship is back, and this is us in California after the Traffic and Conversion Summit this year. We took 10 days to enjoy ourselves as well. So, do you want to be happy and fulfilled? Who wants to be happy and fulfilled? Put your hand up. Everyone, super. Well, it's a process. It's not a fix quick, and you've got to accept it. And I want to give you the full process here. First one is decide what you want. It may sound simple. You may say, yeah, of course, I want a bigger car, I want a bigger house, I want a wife, I want 3 kids, I want a better job, I want to become a VP at whatever bank. That's not what you want. What do you really want? That's the real question. And we're going to go into this today as well. Next one, identify the real reason why you're not getting what you want. It's not what comes up, it's something else. Ask yourself, what is the real reason why I'm not getting what I want? There are 7 reasons actually, which we're going to go through and use to discover the reasons for all the participants in the Power Day with Allan and I are going to use these reasons to work with the participants and discover each individual reason, because every person has a different reason. Even if you may want the same thing, you will have different reasons why you're not achieving that. Because every person is unique. Every person has some strengths and some weaknesses. Every person is in a journey at some point. And depending on where you are in your journey, you need something, one thing or another thing. It's not one solution fits all. And I'm fed up with this one solution fits all, because they don't. The next one is be the key. I'm going to get into this in a minute. It's not this. This is the key. And I'll share with you when we come to this one as well. This is the main thing though. Then you've got to remove the obstacles, which again sounds obvious, but again, what are the obstacles and how do you remove them? And the last one is attract what you want and be happy, be free, be happy. And you can only be free and happy when you're you. That's why we entitled this one-day event, Be You, Be Free. When you find you, you are free. Until you find yourself, it's still struggle and still things that don't work and still things that you can't figure out and you're not happy with. So, decide what you want. There are 3 types of goals. Do you want to take over, Allan, or do you want me to carry on?
No, just finish this.
Finish this? Okay.
Finish this slide.
I knew why I was inviting you on stage. That's the present from my son, Sebastian. I got to be a virus. 3 types of goals. The first one is a goal that you know how to get. You might want a car, but you already bought another car before, so you know how to get it. These are the, let's say, very easy to achieve and don't really help you much when you achieve. The next one is a goal that you think you can achieve. It's not something that you have achieved in the past, but you are comfortable that you can achieve. And that's okay. But a better goal is the one that makes you grow. This is outside of your comfort zone. This is something that you haven't achieved and you don't know how to achieve, but you know you want. Bob Proctor said that goals are not to get, goals are to grow. Because Allan said this morning, you're happy only when you grow. When you stop growing, you're miserable. You die. Miserable and then you die. So the first question that we have for you, and we would like you to think about this, and we will do a little bit of exercise here, is, Sorana, do we have the questions, please? Can we, we've printed this question for you. So the question is, what do you want? And until the forms come, it's for you, okay? You don't have to fill it in for us. It's a form for you to write down. And before the forms come, just want to ask you to think. What do you really want? Think about it, and when our printouts come, you'll have something to write on. And then what will happen is, you're going to share with someone next to you, and then we're going to discuss with someone in the public as well. So just think about it, and Sorana is going to give you the forms as well, the questions.
So while they're passing those forms out, let me just add a few things there. Ozana's obviously got she's very passionate about helping people to build their businesses, helping small business owners to expand their business. And she's, as you heard, she's learned the hard way. She's made lots of mistakes in the process of building her own business. And I'm passionate about helping people to be more fulfilled in their business. And business is just a vehicle. It's my personal belief that business is just a vehicle for you to become more who you really are, for you to feel more fulfilled. And so you must look, there's two aspects to being alive, right? We've got the material plane, and then you've got the spiritual plane. So, how many of you are familiar with spiritual psychology? Raise your hand if you're familiar with spiritual psychology. How many of you have never heard of spiritual psychology before? You're not sure what it is? Okay, so it's really just psychology at a much deeper level, right? So, when you take a business gives you the opportunity to experience yourself more as who you are. It gives you the opportunity to really fulfill your own potential. Many people see business as a means to an end, but it's not. What it is just a stepping stone for you to fulfill more of who you really are. So that's why this presentation is really about becoming more of who you are. So when Ozana asks you this question about what do you want, ask yourself the question, what do I really want? What do I really, really want? Because when most people answer that question about what they want, all they do is they scratch the surface level and they answer the question from the same place that they always answer the question. And often what people do is when they get asked that question, what do you want? Their default answer is, I don't know what I want. Because I haven't really thought about it that deeply. So just keep asking yourself the question, give you a few minutes to answer the question. What do I really want? What do I really, really want? If I could have anything I wanted, if you could have life any way you want, what would you want? If you could have it be any way you want, and you've got freedom to answer that question as extravagantly as you want to, right? And the reason you want to answer this question extravagantly and go as deep as you can is because you want to start engaging the creative side of your brain. Because most people will keep answering this question from the left side of their brain, especially if they're in business, because most people in business are left brain people. And unless you are generally creative or you encourage yourself to be creative, you won't tap into the creative side of your brain. And that's where there's a much deeper answer that's more related to who you are spiritually, which allows you to be expressing more of who you are in terms of your full potential. So answer the question to say to yourself, what do I really, really, really want? If I could have it be any way, if I could have the freedom to have it any way I wanted it, what would I really want? Give yourself the freedom to answer that question from that place. Okay? So to give you a few minutes to answer the question. Go for it. Okay, give you another 60 seconds to answer that question. What do you really want? Really, like really, what do you really want? Really. Don't be shy. Don't censor yourself. If you could have it any way you wanted, how would you have it? Write that down. Alright, start finishing up.
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay, so stop writing. Okay, so who would like to share what you wrote down? What do you really want? Actually, share with your partner first. Share with somebody next to you what you wrote down. Don't be shy now. Some of you think, oh gosh, I wrote some crazy stuff down. Share with your partner, share with somebody next to you, behind you, in front of you. What did you write down? What do you really want? Tell them what you really want. Don't be shy.
What's stopping?
Alright, good. Thank you. So give your partner a high five, say thank you for sharing. Oh, come on now, everybody, give your partner a high five. Say thank you for sharing. Alright, good. So, who would like to share with us? What do you really want? Yes, put it nice and loud, shout it out loud, so we can all hear it. Stand up nice and tall, yeah?
The microphone.
What's your name? And let's give you a microphone. Philip?
Thank you.
Awesome. So Philip, what do you really want?
I really want to inspire more people, to help them, and to be the inventor of a strategy that makes them happy for a long term.
You want to invent a strategy that makes people happy?
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Very cool. How are you going to distribute that?
How? Videos, conferences, books.
Have you already worked out this formula to make
Yes,
them happy? Yes.
I'm working.
You're working on it.
I'm reading
Yeah.
a lot of things about happiness.
Yes.
Of fulfilling yourself and put things together.
Okay.
Different cultures, different religions, different authors.
Yeah. And would it be like something that you distribute via the internet or something?
Yes. Not only by the internet or newspapers. Something to be free. Something to be accessible by everyone.
Okay, cool, excellent, fantastic. Give me my hand, thank you. Give me my hand, thank you. Yes. Pass the microphone down, thank you.
Good evening, my name is Mihaela. What I would really want is to have the possibility to empower women through international events as an international speaker.
Yes.
I'm not really sure how to do that or how will I get there, but after giving it significant thought, I realized that that's the thing that would make my soul vibrate.
Yes.
So, and in order for that to happen, I realized that I need to be at a certain level in terms of mindset, in terms of energy, in terms of everything. So I'm assuming that the first step is to start working, and I'm already doing that, work on myself.
All right, awesome, fantastic.
Thank you.
My hand, please. What do you really want? Yes, that lady over there. Thanks, Ozana.
Here?
Stand up, what's your name?
Bună seara, mă numesc Ana Monica.
Monica. What do you really want, Monica?
I like both Dana and Monica. Monica, let's be a Monica.
Okay.
O să spun în română.
I'll translate.
Ok. Deci o să spun în română. Ce îți dorești? Să zbor în spațiu pe lună.
Whoa, to go on the moon.
to fly in the space, so
Okay.
going on the moon.
Cool.
And the second one, I think it's cool because it's kind of related. Să mă căsătoresc cu Elon Musk și să fim fericiți împreună.
To marry Allan Musk and to be happy together.
To marry Elon Musk. Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Și aș vrea să fac parte din elita spirituală.
Oh, and to be part of the spiritual elite.
Okay, cool. The spiritual elite, who's that?
Us. Îmi place foarte mult ideea de elită, de elite, și împreună cu spirituală este un gând foarte inspirațional. Știu că este greu să fie acolo, dar întotdeauna mi-am dorit să am parte de această mâncare bună, să spunem, mâncarea bună pentru suflet. Lucruri bune, inovative, interesante, nu mi se mai pare un cuvânt așa de interesant.
She's inspired to feed her soul.
Yes. So who's the spiritual elite she was talking about?
All the good guys in the world, the writers, the inventors, the scientists, all the people that bring goodness and better and innovation into the world. No
Okay.
matter which the field, no matter the field.
Okay.
Yes.
Alright. Would it surprise you to know that everybody's spiritual? Okay,
No,
good.
I know this.
Alright, good. Excellent. Good.
They just have to recognize themselves.
Yes. Alright, cool. Fantastic. Good. Give her a hand.
Thank you.
Run! Run! Oh, come on. There we go. What's your name?
So my name is Camelia Deaconu, and I wrote down some goals. What do I really want, but
Yes.
It's not something concrete. So I don't actually know the steps.
Don't worry about that.
Maybe you will help me.
Don't worry about that. Just tell us what you really want.
Okay, so I said that I want to be an inspiration to others, to live a life of service, enjoy life at any moment, no matter what, having total freedom, doing whatever I want when I want, having unlimited energy so I can live life to its fullest, travel and discover the world, make real connection with people that I met on my way, be fearless and unstoppable, have peace in my mind and love in my heart.
Awesome.
Yay.
Fantastic. Good. Very good. Well, what about another gentleman? Another man? Yes, there we go. Thank you, my friend. Thanks, Ozana.
Given him to do some sports. Where is it?
Yes. What's your name, my friend?
£5 for this.
Will you give it to me?
My friend, stay standing. Stay standing.
Okay.
Yes. Lovely. What's your name?
My name is Rizvan. It's a hard name.
Rizvan.
In English.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. So I want to be a blogger. I want to open a blog on YouTube. I want to help people to make smart choices in terms of interior finishing and furniture and interior design. That's a passion. Let's go like that. And I want to become financially independent. More than financially independent because I love money. I pray for money. Also for money. And I want to earn a lot of money.
Yes. Who else there wants to earn loads of money? Yeah, so nothing wrong with that, right? Some of you are laughing, and some of you are also laughing at my friend who wants to marry Elon Musk. Wants to go to the moon. So, sometimes when we hear people share, when we hear people talk about what they really want to do, we think, wow, how many of you thought that, that's a bit crazy, you want to go to the moon or marry Elon Musk? Raise your hand, don't be shy. Thank you for being honest, yeah? So, when we hear about goals or when we think about our own goals, often what we do is immediately we place a censorship on them. Right? Immediately we think, oh, it's too big, it's too crazy. Or you hear somebody else's crazy goal, you think that's crazy, that's impossible. That can't happen, right? As soon as you do that, you shut down the creativity in yourself. You shut down the creative link that you have to everything around you. Because you are created by nature. I spoke about this earlier today. You're created by nature, and you forget about that. We forget that when we get into the construct, the mental constructs that decide or that govern the way we live in the world today. So, there's two aspects to life, right? The physical and the spiritual. Whether you like it or not. whether you understand it or not. I said earlier today in my presentation that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, but we place far too much emphasis on the human experience, on the physical experience, on what we need to do in order to get to where we want to get to, what we need to do. And so what we do is we become human doings. So it's good to have goals. It's important to have goals, right? It's important to have goals. So make sure you drink some water, my friend. You got some, right?
Thank you.
That'll help you. It's important to have goals. And what we need for goals is we need mental constructs. Mental constructs, which help us in the pursuit of these goals. And what we also need is we need emotion. We also need emotion. This emotion acts like the juice. Emotion is like the fuel. Right? This is the mental side of life. This is the physical side of life. This is about turning goals into physical reality. You need mental constructs. In other words, you need to be able to think about what you need to do, which steps you need to take, etc. And you need the emotion to fuel your processes, to fuel your energy, to fuel you towards the goals, right? But there's also the spiritual side of it. The spiritual side of it. The spiritual side of it. The spiritual side of it focuses on why. On why. Right? Now, some of you spoke about, I don't know how I'm going to do it. You said, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know how I'm going to make it real. You know, I've got this idea, but I don't know how I'm going to do it. Maybe you also wondering the same thing. How are you going to make that happen, right? Become a blogger, become financially free, etc. And all of us will focus at some point on how we're going to make something happen. But that's the wrong place to focus on. What we want to focus on is on why. As Ozana was telling you her story earlier, she was telling you about how she was able to tap into her own leverage. And she focused on why it was important for her to make that step, to take the next step, to continue moving forward. But she focused on her son Sebastian, and that was her leverage. She tapped into a much bigger why than she had tapped into before that point. So we all want to tap into a much bigger why. When you take the spiritual aspect of life, you take spiritual psychology, it deals with why you're here on this planet. And you mentioned something about serving, being of service to other people. You can always find a much bigger purpose or much deeper meaning in serving others. So when you take your business or you take your particular whatever work you do, whether even if you're not in business. How many of you are in business for yourself? Raise your hand. How many of you are not in business for yourself? You work for someone else. So it doesn't really matter, right? Whether you're in business for yourself or you work for someone else. You are the CEO of your own life. You are the CEO of your own life. So in order to tap into a much bigger why, you need to ask yourself, how can I serve? How can I serve other people? Whether it's serving your boss or serving your colleagues or serving your clients or serving your customers or your prospects. Because what business does is it gives us the ability to experience ourselves spiritually. That's what it does. It's only a vehicle, just like everything else on life. Everything else on this planet is a vehicle for you to express more of who you are. So it's all about becoming more. Becoming more. So Ozana's going to take you through the next question, right?
Before I go to the next question, I wanted to add something on this why. And I remember that this is the third preview that we do for UPW. My objective is to have 500 Romanians attend UPW in London in April next year. And as a business person, of course, I made a plan. It was about the money as well, and I made up, okay, we can make this kind of money. But it was also like, okay, how do we get 500 Romanians to London? How do we get 500 Romanians to buy the tickets? Because in the end of the day, it goes down to having 500 people taking their money out and of their pocket and giving it to us. And we use these previews to promote UPW, and as a consequence, people come. And we had, with Allan, we had, on 1st of July, we had one preview, and they stayed a few days after just to hang out in Bucharest. And then he brought to my attention that he can't do any more previews in Romania other than this one. I'm like, oh, fuck. How about in October? How about in November? How about in January? How about in... Allan, woo! And he's like, I'm sorry, darling, I have no free weekends whatsoever. And he sees my face, literally my jaw drops, and he's like, don't worry, you know what? Just close your eyes, put your hand on your heart, and just go into yourself and ask yourself, why do you want 500 Romanians? Actually, it was kind of closer to 1,000. Why would you like 1,000 Romanians to attend UPW in April in 2019? I closed my eyes, and within 10 seconds, tears come out of my eyes. Because I realized it's not about the money that we make. It's about the impact that we make. It's about the lives that we change. And he said to me, now you'll have the solution. I'm like, really? Really? You know how many previews we have scheduled for the next 2 months? 7. 7 more previews that just unfolded, given that there was no preview available whatsoever, with Allan as well. So when the reason was apparent, was when I figured out the reason, things started to unfold.
Wow.
Thank you. So, next question. Next question is, why are you not getting what you want? And again, my colleagues are going to distribute the sheets for you to write down. Just think about it. Why are you not getting what you want? What's in the way? So again, we'll take a few minutes for you to think and write.
Think about why you haven't got what you want yet until this moment in time, and ask yourself, why am I not getting what I want? What is the reason? Write that down. Be honest.
Asta este întrebarea, să afli, asta este provocarea, să afli de ce. Cu câtă informație ai acum, la Power Day vei descoperi exact. Dar acum așa, măcar un pic să intrăm.
So 30 more seconds to write down why you're not getting what you want. Write it down quickly. Alright, stop writing. Okay, good, thank you. So, coming back to what I was saying, right, about spiritual psychology. When you must remember that psychology has been around a long time. People have been studying psychology, they're studying the mind, studying behavior for a long time. However, if you look at the initial word, psyche, which determines what's happening between your ears, your psyche, your own individual psyche. Initially that word was suke, right? And if you go back hundreds of years, suke initially meant what? Life, breath, and soul. It was the study of life, breath, and soul. That's what suke meant. And suke eventually shifted in the 1700s to psyche, which then became the scientific study of the mind related to human behavior. So now what we have is we have people who are trying to behave a certain way in order to get what they want, in order to feel good about themselves. Rather than focusing on the fact that they have this natural ability to express who they are already. They already are what they're looking for. All of us already are what we're looking for. We don't need a strategy to be happy, because happiness is within us already. All we need to do is express. You have expression versus behavior. Behavior is behaving a certain way in order to be okay or to be accepted. Expression is expressing what's naturally within you. So, psyche or suke is really about the study of life, breath, and soul. So you've got to ask yourself the question, well, if your soul chose to manifest in this body that you're in right now, then what is the real reason why you manifested here? What's the bigger reason? What's the spiritual reason? If you are a spiritual being having a human experience, now, first of all, perhaps you don't agree with that. How many of you agree that you are a spiritual being having a human experience? Because not everybody may agree with that. How many of you've never heard that before? That's the first time you've heard that, or you don't agree with that, or you're not sure if you understand that. Okay, that's cool. So, if you consider that energy is everything and everything is energy, how many raise your hand if you agree with that? And energy has been around since the beginning of time, right? No matter what you believe about energy, and everybody believes different things. Some people believe the world has only been around for 2,000 years. Some people believe in the Big Bang. Really depends what you believe. But energy has always been around and will always exist. You can't create energy, you can't destroy it. It just changes form. So if energy has always been around and you are an individual demonstration or an individual manifestation of a much bigger energy, universal energy, the same energy that creates stars, moons, suns, the earth, flowers, plants, etc., snow, no matter whatever it is exactly the same thing that creates you. If you take all the space out of everything that exists on the planet, then everyone on the planet you can fit them into the size of a pea. If you take all the space out. That's quite mind-blowing if you think about it, right? Mind-blowing. You take 7.5 billion people, you take all the space out of everything that exists within people, everything that exists on the planet, then everything fits into the size of a pea. That's incredible. It just shows you that everything is moving very quickly, everything's vibrating in different speeds, and everything is 90% space anyway, 95% space. It's just vibrating so fast that it seems to be solid. So, if everything is about energy, then you've got to ask yourself, well, if everything is energy, and if everything is being created all the time, and everything is evolving, everything's moving quickly and rapidly so fast, then how can I tap into that? If I'm an individual expression of the same energy, individual expression of the same energy that creates everything around us, that creates the stars, the soil, the plants, the trees, everything. You already have everything you need within you. You are a divine expression. You're an expression of divine energy. So you need to tap into that and recognize that everything you need is already within you. And how can you transfer that into your business? By understanding that there's nothing in the way. By understanding that everything you think is in the way, and we're gonna ask you now what the question is, when you want to take it to the next level here, right? And what is it you want to ask?
Well, we already have 1 hour gone, so I'm not sure how much detail we can go into now.
Cool.
But since we are talking about being rich and happy, and some of you are in business, I've seen most of you are in business here. I've got one CD which I'm happy to give you for free. It's an interview, Tony Robbins with Marie Forleo. Have you heard of Marie Forleo?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So she's super successful, smart and beautiful as well. And Anthony Robbins has an interview with her. Who wants this CD? You put your first hand up, so this is yours. Congratulations. See, successful people make quick decisions and act on them as well.
I thought you were going to hold it up until somebody actually came and got it from you. That would have been more powerful.
Next, okay,
That would have been more powerful. You said, who wants it? Who wants it? Because then people would have just stayed in their chair, right?
Okay, well, let's try it again.
Oh, I've given the game away now. It's going to get everyone rushing to the stage.
It's not to throw, it's for you to grab. And it's thanks to Alina from Topaz Company. She designed this beautiful flower, so if you're interested, please go and talk to her. So come take it. Oh, that easy. You had no competition. Well done. So, next step. Well, actually, not next step. Next step in today. This is really the key. It's become the person you need to be to get what you want. I've heard this so many times, and Tony talks about it, everybody talks about it. Oh, you do this and you become X, Y, Z. But I just didn't get it until I got it. I couldn't understand what does it mean to become somebody else, because you are you, right? And at some point, it clicked in my mind. And it's relatively recent, that's why we're doing this now. Most people ask themselves, what do I need to do to get what I want? Which is not enough. It's okay, but it's not giving you the whole solution. You've seen so many times, 5 steps to find love, right? Or 3 steps to lose weight, or 7 steps to get rich. Really? Have you applied any of these things? Did they work? They don't. But they work for some people though. So why do they work only for some people and not for the majority? Do you agree with me, by the way, that they only work for some people? Yes or no? Yes, okay. And why? That's the question. Because people are different, because they believe they're more motivated, because they pay attention. Sorry, one at a time. Different context, different experiences, different beliefs, they apply them. Exactly. True. What I believe is that those people who get results with those 5 steps to whatever, they're ready to get results. They became the person that can get those results. And then they work. If they're not the person who gets the result, who they need to be to get those results, they don't get them. For me, that was the biggest shift this year. Does this make sense to you?
Yes.
Put your hand up if it makes sense, so I understand. Wow. Okay. Did you know this concept before, or is this something new? Or did you understand it before now? Who understood it before now? Super, wow. I'm a bit late then. And who understood it now, today? Wow. Super, thank you very much.
So before you move on, let me just ask you a question. So how many of you would like to find out how you can become who you really are much faster? Raise your hand. Yeah? Considering that most people don't even know who they really are, right? Because they're so fixated on who they need to be or what they need to do in order to get what they want, Most people don't really know who they are, because what they're doing is they think they're a label. They think they're their name, they think they're their body, they think that they're their vocation or their job description, etc. But you are much more than all of those things. I said in my presentation earlier today, if you were here, you may remember, I said you are much more than that. You are the energy behind the eyes. You know, when this body dies, you put it in the ground, it starts to rot. But what about the energy that was in this body? Where does that go? That's the question, right? Is that energy just reconnects with the eternal energy? Right? Just return back to source. That energy doesn't disappear. It just changes form. You can't see that person anymore, but that energy still existed. So the fastest way to become that person is to remove any judgment. See, the biggest challenge that we have is we have an ego. And our ego is judging everything that we do. And it's measuring it against right versus wrong, good versus bad. So you have the seesaw effect, where you have a seesaw, and when something is good, makes us smile. When something is bad, makes us frown. And it's right versus wrong. And we learn this particular model from the time we're born. When you do something right, what do you get? You get rewarded. When you do something bad, you get punished. You learn about the punishment and reward system. So now if you fast forward into your life as an adult, what most people do is they're following these 5 steps with this, 7 steps with that, 3 steps with this, etc. They're trying to adopt somebody else's particular method. And they're measuring it up against right versus wrong in their own mind all the time. Whether you realize it or not, you're doing it unconsciously. And you think, am I doing it right? Is it the right way? And you judge yourself all the time, because the ego is constantly looking for something to judge. The ego is constantly looking for something to measure up against something else. And so then you have the seesaw effect. And so there's never really any real fulfillment there. So what you want to do is you want to evolve above that, right? You want to evolve above that. And you want to evolve to a higher state, a higher level of consciousness. Up here, this is acceptance. Acceptance. That's zero judgment. Zero judgment. Also known as what? Unconditional love. Unconditional love. Zero judgment. Now, this is the hardest thing for human beings to encounter. The hardest things for human beings to experience is unconditional love. For who? For who? For yourself. Zero judgment. For yourself. Don't worry about anyone else yet. You've got to give this to yourself. That means you accept everything that shows up in your life without judging it. This is the greatest challenge you'll ever face. But this is real freedom. And what happens is when you can evolve up to this level where you can get to a point where you can accept whatever shows up in your life without judging it, without making it wrong, without measuring it up against your seesaw, is it good, is it bad, does it make me smile, does it make me frown, then what happens is now you free up yourself to be creative. You free up the creative part of yourself that's connected to the universal consciousness. And then you get amazing ideas. And then amazing things happen. The lady wants to go to the moon. For some people that's a crazy dream. But if she gets out of her own way and she believes it's possible for herself and she connects with her creative side and she connects with the universal cosmos, that could become a reality for her. That's exactly how everybody's created anything in the world today. Whether it's Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Marianne Williamson, Oprah Winfrey. What they did is they got out of their own way and they learned to stop judging things versus good versus bad, right versus wrong, and they learned to get to a place where they can accept whatever shows up in their life, good and bad, and not judge it, and be unconditionally loving to themselves. And recognize that whatever shows up is part of the bigger picture. You may not understand it right now, but you will understand it at a later stage. Then you can channel that energy into your business and you find your own 5 steps, your own 3 steps. You make them up because it comes from your creative side. As Ozana said something very powerful earlier, one size does not fit all. We're all trying to adopt somebody else's particular method. I even told you this earlier myself. I said you find a strategy, you copy someone else's success. But you must apply it in your own particular way. That's true for yourself, that resonates with your own authentic self. And you can only connect with your authentic self when you get out of your own way and you stop judging certain things. You You stop judging whatever shows up. Because you don't know why it shows up. It could show up for a much bigger purpose. So rather than judge it, just ask yourself, how can I accept this? And how can I accept this? Because then what it does is it gives you the ability to connect with more of who you really are. And then you can create amazing opportunities in your business. Because you'll be creative. You'll be connecting to the universal cosmos, the energy that feeds everything. Raise your hand if you understand what I mean. I'm trying to explain it as simply as possible because we've got such a short space of time. When you spend more time together, then we can go a lot deeper. It's a lot easier to understand because you can start to break it up into practical aspects. So now I'm going to hand it back to Ozana.
Yeah, how long do you think it takes you to get to this level? A life? Few lives. What if I told you that for me, it happened in 4 days with Allan? Would you believe it?
Yes.
Who would believe that that can happen to you as well? Let me tell you what happened to me. I've done loads of courses. I invested a lot in my training. I can't even tell you how much I invested because you'll probably judge me for that. And I'm very structured. I'm very logical. And I know how to deal with a presentation. I have the content. You ask me any question about the business, my clients will tell you that I answer it. And I answer it in the right way. I actually answer the right question, not the question that they ask me, which is usually not the right one. Is it true? True. But I was missing something, and I knew I was missing something, and it was the connection with the public. I was doing presentations, and people were like, yeah, very interesting, thank you very much. But I could feel there was something wasn't there. And I went to Allan's course on how to connect with, his course on public speaking for just one thing, how to connect with the audience. That was all I wanted from him. And we started the course with the speaker's declaration. And there are a couple of points on declaration, and you read those points with your hand on your heart, and you're supposed to believe those points. And I'm like, one of them is, I'm confident and charismatic. And I'm like, yeah, I'm confident, but nobody laughs at my jokes. So, no, I'm not charismatic. I can't crack jokes, right? So, I'm thinking, yeah, it's very good for you to have these points because you are like that, but I'm not. And I can read those things every morning, every day for 3 days, every day for three times. And how long will it take me to get there? And I tell you what, the last day of the course, when I read those things, I felt, I believed, I was confident and charismatic. It was me, because I've been through a transformation process, because I became that person. So that is really the question, is whom do you need to become to get what you want? And it's easier than you think. Told you, it took me 4 days with Allan to figure it out. It was one thing that I was looking for. You might need something else, completely different to what I am looking for. And that's the reason why we do this one day, the be you, be free. Because what you need is unique to you. And during this one day, we are going to enable you through more breakthroughs like the ones we've done so far, and through practical exercises, so you understand who you are, and so you understand also who you need to become, so you know what to do. Does this make sense? Yes. Okay. So, would you want to spend 1 day with Allan and me to figure these things out? Yes or no? Yes. Who would like to spend 1 day with Allan and me to figure out your life? Your better life? Super. We've done this event. We literally looked at our calendars, and the only possible day that we can do this year is 26th of November. It's on a Monday. And it is going to be here in Bucharest. Allan is going to fly specifically for this day and will leave right on the day. So he's coming just for you, just for this one day. Then the next 2 days are during the weekend. And when you sign up today, you will be able to choose the dates that you want, whichever makes sense. I would rather suggest that you take 1 day off, even if you work for somebody else, because you want to do it sooner rather than later. Because then your life will unfold in a completely different way. We just put a price on it. We just put 500 euros, but I believe it's much more than that. What's the value for you having the life you want? It's just priceless. And we just took this price out of, actually, my butt. And we also...
Too much information.
We also want to give you a guarantee. The guarantee is that if you don't get one thing, if there is no click for you before lunch break, during the day, you tell us, you leave, and you take your money back. So there is no risk whatsoever. So you try, you succeed, you stay, and we work further together. If you're not happy, if you don't think it's for you, if there is no breakthrough for you before lunch, you go and we refund you completely. What I believe will happen is, after this day, is that you will know how to earn what you're worth, whilst enjoying your life, whilst enjoying what you do, and being appreciated for what you do. And also, how to do what you love every day, constantly, so you feel fulfilled and happy. This event is not for the people who want to figure out by themselves everything. Not for the people that need 3 lives to figure things out. It's not for the people that believe know it all, and it's not for the people that don't trust that they can have a better life. It's not for the people who don't take action. It's really for decision makers and action takers like you guys. It is for the people who want to get to the destination faster. Because these days there are tools, there are techniques, there are strategies that Allan and I have learned, have discovered, have experienced, and we can take you through those strategies so you can figure out your own things. It's unique to every single one of you. Just want to give you a few more examples about what happened to me with this becoming thing. When I launched Tooliers in Silicon Valley, that was before those 3 years of not selling anything with my Tooliers, with my platform online with business growth tools. I went there for a month, and I expected to come back with some clients, 100 maybe, 200. I expected to come back with investment. I had raised 150 million for others in the past as a consultant. Can I not raise money for you, for me? Of course I can. And first person that I met said to me, "You're not fundable." I'm like, "What the hell are you telling me I'm not fundable? I know my stuff." Second person tells me, "You're not fundable." Third person tells me, "You're not fundable." I'm like, okay, maybe these guys are right. Wrong product, wrong business model, wrong strategy, wrong everything. I meet finally one guy, one potential investor who likes the idea and likes me, and he's like, "Okay, Ozana, I'm willing to look at it. You just need to have 3 clients. Once you have 3 clients, maybe in a month or 2 or 3, come back, contact me, and we'll sit down and we'll talk." I look at him. 3 clients in 3 months? Hey, I am Ozana. Can get the client tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and no client. And look what I came back from that trip. Loads of shoes, loads of business cards. No money and no investment. And now I realize why the guy asked me for 3 clients. he actually didn't care about those 3 clients. Do you know why? Because once you have 3 clients, you have become the person that you need to be so that you can generate more. And those 3 clients are the hardest to get, because there are loads of things that you need to figure out in between. Once you've got those 3, then you can grow, because you are whom you need to be. And that's what I realized relatively recently. So, why are those things not working? Because we all learn tricks, loads of tricks. There are loads of 3 steps or 5 strategies or whatever. Internet is full of those things. There are loads of people talking about those things. But really, they are just like a nice fence surrounding a damaged house. And until we fix the house, those 5 steps or whatever don't work. That's what I figured out. And I want to give you another example. When we communicate, you know already, 7% is of words, and then the rest is non-words, right? 38% is the tone of voice, and most of it, 55%, is the body language. You already know, it doesn't matter the percentages, right? So what happens? People teach what words to use, how to use your voice, how to behave, right? How to move on stage. And still, you learn everything and things don't work. Why? Why do you think those things don't work? You're not prepared, exactly. And there are still missing bits. Because you need to figure out whom you need to become. And when you ask yourself, whom do I need to become? Then you're here, the person you need to be is here. And then you know what are the missing points. But if you don't know where you are, so if you don't know who you are, if you don't know whom you need to become, you can't figure out the missing points. And it's impossible. That's why we do this one day, because we want you to figure out who you really are and who you really need to become. Then it's easy. Once you figure those things out, then the 5 steps work. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Super. So just another example, or a few examples, right? If a guy wants a girl, then he needs to become a charmer. And then you ask yourself, okay, how does the charmer in me look? And what do I need to do to become a charmer? And it's not just finding out how to get the number, but it's how to talk to her, it's your energy, it's everything, right? It's the same thing with everything. If you want to become a VP for a bank, then you need to become the person that the CEO wants as a VP. If you want to be on TED, and if you want to share your message, right? There are a few people who want to share their strategies and messages. You've got to become an inspiration. You've got to be a great communicator. And by the way, at the end of Allan's training, we had a declaration that we made for ourselves. And you know, my one line on that declaration was, I'm a powerful presence and an inspiration for my audience. And that came from within me. And that's exactly what I was looking for when I joined the course 4 days before. So you can have it super quick when you know where you are, who you are, and whom you need to become. Then you can bridge the gap. So yeah, a few more examples. If you want to have kids that are accomplished in life, then you have to become a better parent. If you want to have a successful business, then you have to become a smarter entrepreneur. It's simple, super, super simple. So it's really about your identity. This is really the key, your identity. Once you figure this out, then you remove the obstacles, which is super, super simple. It's just like, okay, you define the right questions, which Allan and I, again, are going to help you define during the Power Day. And then you get the answers. You can't get the answers unless you have the questions, and you can't have the questions, you've got to have the right questions formulated in the right way. And that is really coming out of knowing whom the person needs to be, so you get what you want. And then once you figure out the questions, you have different options. You have the options of books and tutorials on YouTube and different things that don't cost a lot of money, but take a lot of time, of course, to figure out. What my advice is not to go for the formal education. You already know that the system is behind, is way behind. And it's not just in Romania, it's across the world that is behind. You need stuff that is happening right now. And you can't get that from an MBA or from a university in psychology or whatever it is, because they take a long time to adjust their programs, and then the world moves already. I know because I'm on the advisory board at Katz Business School, and that's exactly their biggest challenge right now. Then you can go to specialist seminars. My advice is to go to the seminars that are held by people who have had those challenges and have overcome those challenges. Because that's when they speak from their heart, from their soul, from themselves. They've already become the person that you want to become. So learn from those people. Don't go to people who copy others or who just take theory from the book and then they show it to you. Because you can read it from the book yourself, or you can get it on YouTube. You want to get this with the energy of the person that has solved that challenge by themselves. Because then you can do it yourself as well. And you need a mentor. Of course, you need a mentor that is qualified, again, that has been through those challenges. Most people go to their friends or family, which are nice and free, and they listen to you, and they probably give you advice, but they're not qualified, because they have the same challenges as you, or similar. And as long as you get advice from people who have the same or similar challenges, you can't solve them. You need to get advice from the people who have already solved those challenges. Does this make sense? Super. So, what have we covered? It's the process, as I said. And it's step number 1, decide what you really want, not what shows up as a surface. Step number 2 is identify the real reason why. We haven't covered that at all, but we will during the Power Day, because it's 7 reasons and you need to understand and figure out your own reason. Then it's to become the person that you really need to be. Then it's to remove the obstacles from the way, which is easy once you've done the biggest work, the biggest job to become the person. And then finally to attract what you want in love and be free, be you, be free, be happy. That's what you get when you come to the Power Day, because we are going to work with you on all of those. We go into more detail, more depth, and we work on those. What we cover now is a little bit of decide what you want, a little bit of become who you need, and a little bit of removing the obstacles. So, do you want to become the person you need to be? Yes or no? Yes. Who wants to become the person that needs to be? Look in the room. Look in the room. Everybody wants. Now I tell you what. When we invite you to join the Power Day, not everybody will sign up. Why do you think that will happen?
Because some of us, we are not ready for it.
Exactly. Still the fear. There is still a voice in your head that is stopping you from moving ahead. And as long as you have that fear, you'll still be where you are. That fear has helped you to be where you are now, but it's no longer serving you. So you need to acknowledge the fear, embrace the fear, and move with the fear towards the person that you want to become. It's not about the money. Some of you will say, oh, I don't have the money. Come on. Do you get any pay?
No.
No? Not at all. How do you survive? So far, so good. If it is an amount that is, what can I say? less than a coffee per day for a month. Would you take it? Would you give up your coffee for that? Yes or no? Who would give up a coffee for this? You don't drink coffee. Okay, some of you. Would you give up 2 bottles of wine? Would you give up a bag or going away for the weekend or something? Are you willing to sacrifice something so you become the person that you need to be? Who is willing to sacrifice something? Most of you. And thank you for being honest, those of you who didn't put your hand up. I appreciate your honesty. So, I invite you to join us for this Power Day. Be you, be free. One day where Allan and I are going to be working together with you. And it's going to be in Bucharest, in Hotel Cismigiu most likely. And the dates are on the screen. You have the guarantee, so there is no risk. The only thing that you risk is just few hours of your time. And if you can't take that risk, again, maybe you're not at the level where you deserve to become the person that you need to be.